Hello and welcome to another of TMG's product demonstration videos. Today I will be demonstrating how to correctly use the Sumitomo 71M ribbon splicer. The first step to take once you have received your splicer is to change the fibre detection from automatic to manual. By doing this you are eliminating any chance of error of the splicer and will get consistently good splices. From the home screen, select the SM Auto button in the top left corner of the screen. You can now select the fibre type, so I'll select the single fibre. I can select 1 or 12A ribbon. Now in the top right hand corner is the home screen, is the settings for the oven. The oven temp can be changed depending on the type of splice protectors you'd be using. I'm going to select the 40mm 12 core standard, and then I'm going to press the little lightning bolt on the screen, and now I'm ready to carry out an arc test. An arc test is a method of melting and connecting optical fibres by electrical discharge. Arc conditions can be different depending on temperature, atmospheric pressure, and conditions of the electrode and the optical fibre itself. You must perform an arc test if you are finding poor splice performance, or you have changed the electrodes, or, like mentioned, changes in temperature. It's probably good practice to do an arc test daily. You can carry out an arc test before splicing by just selecting the lightning sign. If the arc is too weak or the arc is too strong, it is displayed, and the fibres will need to be prepared and again before trying another arc test. You can also program the auto clamping adjustment system. In the center of the display you will see and find the fibre offsets. Ideally these should be below 3. You can improve these offsets by selecting the clamp and then pressure on the up and down arrow key. The plus and minus keys can also be used to manually increase or decrease clamp pressure. Once the arc is done, we can move on to splicing. Now we are going to prepare the fibres for splicing. You'll need to insert your fibres into the fibre holder with around 30mm coming out the other end, making sure the fibre is as centered as possible. Place the fibre holder into the holder receptacle in the thermal stripper, making sure the fibre is positioned correctly. Make sure that the heater is set to low. Typically at TMG we use it on the second position from the left. The heater LED flashes green for a few seconds before being illuminated. Hold the push portion of the stripper and slowly slide the receptacle away. Here is an example where we had the highest heating setting on the thermal stripper. Watch now as I open up and see the fibres actually disintegrated and melted at the end. Now I clean my fibres with isopropyl and lint-free wipes until squeaky clean. I then flick the end of the fibres to separate. Open the top of the cleaver lamp and make sure the blade carriage is in the forward position. Place the fibre holder in the cleaver, lower the top clamp lever and slide the blade to the rear. Do not re-clean the fibre and be careful not to contaminate, and place the fibre straight into the splicer. So we are going to firstly splice it in manual mode. When placing my fibre holders into the splicer, make sure that they are straight as possible. You can wiggle the holders and view the fibres in the display if necessary. Now as we carried out the arc test earlier, we'll go straight in and do a pre-test. At this point, if any of the fibres were not aligned, this is where you can open up the lid again and just wiggle them to make sure they are aligned. Now it's time to carry out a splice. Check the quality of the loss in the center, and once happy, carefully open up the holding legs and move the splice sleeve to the correct position and remove the fibre from the fibre holders. Place the fibre into the oven. And press the relevant button to start the heating process. The symbol on the screen will display the progress of this. Once finished, the heater will stop and the fibre can be placed on a rack to cool. Now to speed up the process, I can change the splicer settings to auto. From the menu screen, I can turn off the arc function. I can turn auto start to on and turn the heater to auto start. Now let's see this in action. Again, place the two fibres into the splicer. Use the screen to help align the fibres. Once the lid is closed, the instrument will jump straight into carrying out a splice. Carefully remove the fibre. Move the sleeve into the correct spot. And drop into the oven. Once completed, remove from the oven and place the fibre on a rack to cool. For your splice to maintain its optimal splice quality, it's important you look after it. Clean it daily with isopropyl and cotton swabs, making sure that all loose particles are removed. Also make sure you look after your cleaver and make sure you rotate the blade whenever required. It's probably a good idea to get both your splicer and cleaver serviced on an annual basis. For more information on how to look after your splicer, then please revert to the user manual. You'll also find more in-depth information on how to use your splicer and cleaver. So thank you for your time again. If you need any pricing or support for anything we have covered today, then please contact TMG for assistance. Until next time, goodbye.